Thanks for meeting with me. First of all, let me thank you. Appreciate you. A lot of people, I have a show called Gloves Off. And on Gloves Off, we don't sugarcoat. We don't beat around the bush about our tongue. That's the only
Hmm.
rules. Um, and a lot of people are afraid to sit down with me due to the fact they don't know what I'm going to ask them. But honestly, you can ask questions to me too. It ain't just about me asking you questions. And my objective is not to drill you. My objective is not to slander or anything of the sort. My objective is to give you a platform to explain who you are, what do you want to do with, with your life and stuff like that. So it's basically your platform. I'm just giving you a stage. So my first question to you is, first of all, state your name and did you grow up in the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut?
Okay, my name is Andre F. Baker Jr. I'm a businessman who is the owner of Baker Isaac Funeral Home on Stratford Avenue, and also Baker Funeral Services in Norwalk. I'm also currently a state representative for the 124th District here in Bridgeport.
Okay. And were you born and raised here?
No, I was born in New Rochelle, New York. I was
Okay.
born and raised down there.
Okay. And when did you come to Connecticut?
So I migrated up to Connecticut in 1994.
Okay.
The current owner of this establishment, which was M. McDonald Isaac and daughter, it was run by Annette Isaac. I came up and started doing some part-time work with her, and then about 4 months after that, she passed away.
Hmm.
So her family asked me if I would take over the business, be more of a silent partner. I did that for a couple of years, and then I brought them out. So
Okay.
that's how I got
Okay.
here.
Okay. And since you've been in the city of Bridgeport, you have been crinkling into politics and stuff of that sort since you are now an state representative. How long you been into politics, first of all?
I got involved in 2005.
Okay.
A
How'd that
friend
happen?
of a friend of mine had asked me to become part of the town committee.
Hmm.
I wasn't really didn't really have the knowledge of the political process. So I said, okay, I got involved just to kind of make some changes around here,
Hmm.
being a businessman and wanting to see this area in particular grow and thrive. It has so much potential. So I did get involved, not
Okay.
realizing the political
Side of it.
dynamics and stuff.
Okay.
So we ran a slate. I and 9 of us ran against the other town committee 9 members, and just me and then another individual were the only ones that got in. So we meshed together, and that was more of my eye opener because
Okay.
in politics they look at your numbers. Your
What you mean by that?
they look at as an individual wins, they look at your percentage of winnings.
Okay.
So when they see the amount of people that supported you, then they become fearful because now you are a person that has a lot of, as they quote unquote say, power.
Hmm.
You have a power base.
Okay.
So that's how they view you,
Oh.
in the
Okay.
political arena.
So what made how long? So what made you become the state? Because today you are the state representative. What made you become the state representative?
Yeah. So as I got involved, after that, which I ran for, I was appointed because they realized that my numbers were so high. So
Hmm.
me not understanding the political arena, they came to me and they said, "Hey, why don't you we'll appoint you to the zoning board." Not understanding that what they were trying to do was they were going to neutralize me because there was an upcoming council election coming up. I said,
Okay.
okay, I get on that. But then the same friend came to me, let's run for council because you had the high numbers. I
Hmm.
ran for council, and out of the 4 of us, I was the highest go-getter, meaning I had the most votes out of the 4 people that ran for that council seat.
Family first, and just know I do this for those that do not have a voice.
I
Hmm.
ran for council, And out of the four of us, I was the highest go-getter, meaning I had the most votes out of the four people that ran for that council seat. I got on the city council. I said, oh, okay. So it opened my eyes to the political arena and understand why things happen, why things don't happen, who are the players, who's really true to the community, the constituents out here versus who goes along with the so-called establishment. So
Okay.
after I stayed on the council for about 8 years, I got kind of frustrated and stuff because out of the 20 people, I was always pretty much with me and the two other people always voting against or for, which wasn't in favor of the people. So I saw the BOE, the Board of Education, needed some help, and at the time, my son was getting ready to go into the public school system. So I ran for the Board of Education.
Okay.
Yeah, so I served on the Board of Education for about 3 years, and then a friend of mine who was the state rep asked me he was going to retire, and I always wanted to go and become a state rep after, and so I ran for state rep, resigned from the Board of Education, and that's how I'm at the state rep now.
So okay? I love education. I want to go back on that. I'm going to jump back towards education because that's the number one thing that I harp on. Because if we could change the mindset, we could change the way people do things. So when you was on the Board of Education, and obviously you're in a higher position now, so I would like for you to speak truthful. When you was on the Board of Education, you said that it was a lot of things that frustrated you.
Yes.
Give me some examples because if a lot frustrates me in that field as well. Do you think that our children is undereducated? Be honest.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They truly
Okay.
are.
Thank God.
They truly are. And one of the things that was got me frustrating is that they've always been good people serving on the Board of Education. But what I found is that if you have 5 things on the table, and you know, instead of us picking 2 things that we all agree on and running with that and then come back to the other 3, we just fight so much we don't even get past those 2 things. So it becomes a situation where you don't focus on one thing at a time. And what happens is that you got personalities different where you have, I mean, and you probably have noticed the different superintendents that have been over the years. The Board of Education, you want to be able to work together with your super that you bring in. When I was on the Board of Education, I didn't particularly care for the super that came in there, but I was willing to work with them to come to 2 things that we could work on and we could move stuff forward. We began to formulate a good relationship and stuff.
Do you believe that Bassick High School should be over there near UB where they putting it now? Would you?
I had other views of where it should be, but it's there. It's going up. We got to figure out a way to work with stuff. And that goes to a situation where if we're together on a thing, sometimes I'm not going to win. The majority of the votes can go the other way. So you just got to go along with it and and don't be an obstructionist and say, well, I'm going to shut everything down any way I can. You got to begin to move forward with things. Everybody can't have the other way, way all the time. So, that's mainly with a lot of problem. When you jump superintendents and you jump, they have their own mission. They have their own goals. They come in there, they put programs in place, and then you cut their feet from under them. You got to start all over again.
Yes,
it's a process, and why these kids are going
and they're getting neglected the whole time.
They're graduating, and then you got to get a whole new superintendent. Now we got to get a new superintendent in now.
Yes,
and it's a process.
Yes,
that's going to take a couple of months.
So, what is the objective of the state rep when you go into office and take an oath? They basically who are you responsible for? So what is the objective of the state rep? When you go into office and take an oath, they basically who are you responsible for?
So I'm more of the spokesperson for the 124th district up in Hartford.
Okay.
Now, it's obvious that, we go and we vote. I vote on some things that don't have nothing to do with Bridgeport.
Okay.
But I'm the representative. At some point in time, it might trickle down, and it might be good for it, it might be bad. So I have to make a decision, talking with some of my constituents about certain things that, as a whole. Also, one of my responsibilities is wherever the needs are for the constituents in the district that they address, I go over there. It could be housing, it could be jobs, it could be economic development, streetscape. It could be different funding for programs and stuff. That is my responsibility to make sure that my constituents get in this district, along with the city too, because we have a group delegation.
So that's what I was going to ask. When you say district, you're referring to
the 124th district, my state rep district.
Oh, well, for those that is not politicians like such as myself, and it's funny because I don't really study certain things before I interview somebody, but I had to study certain titles and stuff like that to get an understanding. So when you say your district, are you referring to the whole of Bridgeport, or are you referring to a certain side of town of Bridgeport?
A certain side of town.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bridgeport is divided up into 6 districts. We have 6 state reps.
Okay.
And they have borderlines. So my district is kind of considered the east end and parts of the east side, Mill Hill, Success area. Okay. That's my district.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you go and petition in Hartford to better that district, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Constituents come to me and they say, we need this, and that over here in that district. And or just some personal needs. I have people that call me up. They have issues with their unemployment in some cases, things of that nature and things. Different things, individual wise,
So let me ask you, outside of the state rep position, because that's just, a title and stuff like that. But as a man on a day-to-day, you say you took over the funeral home business and stuff. I know I've been to too many funerals.
Yes.
But the years you have been in this establishment, whether from assisting to even taking over, it's not overwhelming to you?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like I have to ask you, like, because when I even pulled up here, because I knew who you was as the funeral director and stuff of that sort, but I didn't remember the actual place. And then when I was driving over here, I looked and I said, wow, I've been here a few times, but I haven't been here for happy moments. You get what I'm saying? But not saying that this space is a bad thing, but it's just like, and then I walk in here, and it's flushing through my head, and I'm saying, how could a man, I know you have a soul, because you don't seen so much. You feel what I'm saying? And especially a lot of these kids out here on the East End, like you said, have even been, rested here, and their families have came here to mourn and stuff of that sort. So you have a one-on-one relationship with them. It ain't a distance relationship. You're actually here. So when certain things don't go your way, when you're voting and fighting for these people that you know them personally, and you said it gets overwhelming and it upsets you, but that kind of puts a fire under you to make you go better. It makes you get better. You went from assisting to taking over this to now, going into a little form of politics, now state rep. Do you see a bigger future for yourself one day? Bigger future for yourself one day?
I've always been the type of person, and I when I have an election, right, and the day I get up and the day of the election, I always ask God to say, God, if this is what you want me to continue to do, you'll have the numbers fall in my favor. If Not, I'm going to go to bed after the election is over. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to ask you what next. I don't know what God has in store for me. I don't know if he has bigger ambitions for me or what, but I'm going to stay in tune of what the work that he has for me. You know, if he says he wants me to step back a little bit, or if he wants me to maneuver over here and move over here, that's where I'm willing to go.
I
You know,
respect that. I
so
respect that. I
yeah.
respect that. Do you have any children and stuff like
Yeah, I
that?
have two sons and a
Okay.
granddaughter.
Oh yeah, you did say one of your sons was running at a point in
Yeah,
time. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And they ran for the city, and they do things amongst the city, or they live elsewhere.
No, one of my sons lives outside the city. My other son lives here, but he's in high school.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
those are the kids that we gotta start
yeah.
interacting with. So, do you have any ideas that you would like to implement in or see in the city of Bridgeport actually get done amongst collectively, not individually, collectively, even pertaining to? And I say that to say this because it was told to me at one time that nonprofits do a lot more than actual people that's in these positions and stuff like that. And then I started to see in politics that a lot of people do bicker amongst each other and they don't support or they won't go to certain functions. And I'm like, I bounce to every function, so I see who's not popping up to certain things. Would you like to see, like how Malcolm X one day, like I have a dream that Bridgeport would collectively come together?
I would love to see the 20 to 40-year-olds get more involved. Even if it's just being on a board and the commissions, the park commissions are so important. They're one meeting a month, man. But those are the parks commission are the ones that set the tone of how the parks look, how these grants are being spent, the parks being open, and then the lighting, how that's taken care of. And I keep telling some of these young people, I said, get involved with that because you complain, but it's the ball is in your court to do so. If we could just get some more people to be involved, be at the table. Not everybody is made to be a state rep. Not everybody's
Yes.
made to be a council. But we got to come together and take some interest in the community, take in the city of Bridgeport. And that's what I would just love to see. And I don't want to be the state rep forever. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
think that I would love to see some of these younger with these bright ideas to get involved, man. And some of the things that I've been trying to teach them and understand that politics is the way it is because you say, I don't want to be involved in all that. So you get this certain group of people that get involved in it and they just, it's more of a
Control.
self-interest.
Yeah.
It's all about them. It's not the community. It's really, really not about about growing the city of Bridgeport. Yeah.
Nope.
Get involved in it and they just, it's more of a
Control.
self-interest.
Yeah.
It's all about them. It's not the community. It's really, really not about about growing the city of Bridgeport. Yeah.
Nope. And as far as the politics and stuff that been going on out here in Bridgeport the past year and stuff, even with the election going 4 times and stuff like that, and everybody has nasty tastes for different things. Do you see, I'll say within the next 2-3 years, growth downtown in Bridgeport? Because that's one of the places I've been saying that we need to draw more attention to the heart. Every time I go to New Haven, they're lit up. It's so many lights. It looks like a baby New York. It invites you to want to be outside and go out to eat and stuff. Bridgeport downtown don't have restaurants to invite you. You know what I'm saying? Lighting and trees and stuff. It needs more life.
We need more people with brighter ideas and stuff to be at the table and stuff. And one of the things I have seen in Bridgeport is that we allow developers to come from the outside and say, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. Instead of us having more of a master plan, the stakeholders, the voters, the taxpayers that are here, they're being at the table say, no, this is what we put in our master plan. And developer, can you do this? Can you do that? And and that's how we would be able to get things done. We could change it. I mean, if you look at the East End alone, we're surrounded by water. This area is a gem. It's a gem. But there's certain people that just don't want to see the growth until somebody comes through here with a developer with to come through here, do a nice little sweep, and put whatever they want. It's not going to be benefit the people, and we get caught up in that and say, oh, you know, nobody wants to come to business, nothing's going on. But you got to roll up your sleeves, come be at the table, be on the council, be part of the town committee, be a state rep, or even be on the board and the commission, the police coming to drive that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, we do.
So,
we do. We definitely do. As far as your day-to-day, I greatly appreciate you. You know, I appreciate your time. I know that, you know, like I said, you're overwhelmed, especially when you're dealing with stuff like this and, you know, in the funeral field. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on Gloves Off. I didn't want to take up all your time. I just wanted to pick your brain. I wanted the Bridgeport to
pick as much as you want, man.
Go ahead, put your jacket on. Go ahead, put your jacket on. You ready? Ready to go. You almost got it. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on Gloves Off. I didn't want to take up all your time. I just wanted to pick your brain. I wanted the Bridgeport to
pick as much as you want, man.
I wanted Bridgeport to basically get an understanding of who you are. When you was first running, obviously, my grandmother asked me to bring me over to your office, and I pulled up there, and I was like, "Who is this guy running for state rep?" And then and it wasn't like I was angry. One thing, I love my grandmother, but I always try to tell my grandmother that Kodak was relevant at one point in time, and now they're irrelevant. They sell their licenses just to take care of their children. And I say that to say this, that I tell her that she needs to understand that we got to form with the times. Some people are so stuck in their ways, or they fear that they seen things in politics and they fear certain things. So they try to enlighten you indirectly, like, no, don't get involved with that. And I be telling her, I risked my life and my freedom when I was doing negative. I have no choice but to do this now for positive. Like, so I go ask questions. A lot of people be like, oh, you're trying to be nosy or you're trying to cause friction. That's never been my objective. I'm just curious of who you are. What's your title? What are you willing to do? And if you say something, mean what you say. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't. So I greatly appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
And just wanted to share something. In the world of politics, I have gotten to meet some real good people and stuff that really are genuine and really care about the city and stuff. And one of the things that I have, I've gone to a lot of events. I had to really connect the dots for who's who and how things been be able to move. And I tend to walk quietly because Bridgeport is a city where it's entrenched with relationships, families, and relatives, and politics and stuff. And that they tend to keep that strong bond of core to. So it's kind of hard for an outsider to come in and maneuver. And to do the right thing, as I say, but I can encourage people, you gotta get involved if you want to make change. If you sit on the sidelines, and it's always going to look like the way it is. So,
yeah, and let me ask a question. The south end of Bridgeport has nothing going for it. So I've been trying to reach out to the state reps and them over there. Allegedly, we were supposed to have a conversation, but that fell short somewhere. But anyway, I'm gonna reach out to him again. But my thing is the South End, the West End, the Hollow is more neglected than I would say the East End. You might beg the difference, say the East End need a lot more, but I feel like the East End and the North End has certain people to represent them. Like for an example, you got Harry Bell and a couple other faces that represent the North End. Then you have such as yourself, and you have Ernie and them that has represented the East End. There hasn't really been someone that was that represented the Hollow in the West and in the South End. Yo, man, F1ST, man, family first, man.
You know,
Real talk, man. They know the motherfucking vibes.
vibes.
F1ST, man. We outside,
Hoodie
man.
up on you niggas.
Yeah, let them know, man.
Niggas know what time it is.
My cuz always fly, man. That nigga came out the womb looking sharp. Word of mommy. The North End has certain people to represent them. Like for an example, you got Harry Bell and a couple other faces that represent the North End. Then you have such as yourself, and you have Ernie and them that has represented the East End. There hasn't really been someone that that represented the Hollow in the West and in the South End. I can't picture someone that stands out like how y'all stand out.
Well, it's kind of hard to stand out, and it goes back to what I say is like you have to really have that support to make some things happen. And what happens, a lot of people just fall in line to get some things, instead of looking at the bigger picture. You got to have a group that's independent and that demands, this is what we're going to do to make some change. We're not going along with what the administration says down there. We're not going along with the so-called other politics because it's not in best interest of the community. A lot of people are involved in politics. It's about self-serving. It's about themselves, man.
Yes.
I've always been able to stand apart and stay a little more independent, as some people say, because my business is my livelihood. I have other business ventures, and that's where I make my money. Things I do out in the community is solely because I want to see Bridgeport rise up. We have so much potential.
Yes,
we
do.
So much potential.
Yes.
So much. We're a deep port. We're right off of 95. We got a zoo. We got a golf course. We got museums, and we have Park City. We have so much potential.
Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. Definitely do. So definitely, I appreciate you for your time.
And I appreciate you, and I hope in your walks that you can encourage other younger people to get involved. And I hope that this segment will kind of like encourage other people to come together and stuff.
Definitely,
especially some of this younger generation.
I be beating the streets with a nonprofit called Quicksand on the Solid Ground. Have you ever heard of Jasper Dudley?
No, I haven't.
He's a gentleman. He started a program called Quicksand on the Solid Ground. There's a lot of ex-felons that vamped themselves back into society. Been doing a lot of beautiful things for the community. This April we do Easter stuff with a lot of different people and things, but they go into the community. One thing I do like about them, they reach out to all types of ethnicities, all types of backgrounds. They don't care if you're Muslim, Christian, it doesn't matter. And there's a bunch of men that come together and we go to support each other in different walks and functions. That program, he's not on a specific side of town. You get what I'm saying? He's like literally just, whoever like-minded come together. Yes. Yeah. So I started dealing with them, and then I met a beautiful man that came from Hang Time. You ever heard of the Hang Time program?
No.
Oh man, it's a Hang Time program. They're in New Haven, they're in Bridgeport, they're in Waterbury, they're all over. And he deal with like people from the halfway house and people that has nonprofits and things around that could assist. And I go to this program, and I ain't been on papers in a very long time. So almost 7 years, thank God. And so when I go to these places, they always be looking, they be like, yo, this guy comes in here willingly. He's not forced to be here and stuff like that. And I be saying it's because I see the beautiful things that y'all doing. And I wish that the inner community will be able to see it. So that's what made me start Gloves Off.
I would love to see the works they're doing in whatever way I can be supportive of what they do.
I appreciate that.
You know, because that's important.
Yes, I appreciate that. So. This is Gloves Off. On Gloves Off, we don't sugarcoat. We don't beat around the bush or bite our tongue. God bless everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.